Greetings in the Geek Rumors and welcome to Infinity Watch, Part 13, Captain America, Civil War, from, like I said, 2016. Okay, I watched the film about a week ago, wrote some notes. I am now going to do what I did the other time. I'm going to throw my notes down here for now. Let's see if I can do this without the notes. It's been about a week since we watched Civil War. I love Civil War, great film. But if you go back to when it came out, came out at the same time in the same period as Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. So you've got the two big companies, Warner, DC, Marvel, Disney. You've got Batman versus Superman, Zack Snyder's. Then you've got the Russo brothers, Captain America: Civil War, which is Team Iron Man versus Team Captain America. Okay, now you know what this is. Now we're going into territory that's building up to Infinity War. We are now in Phase 3. Ant-Man close Phase 2. We are in the first film of Phase 3, even though this does feel like Avengers 2.5, because you've got everyone except for the Hulk and Thor who are off-world, getting ready for Ragnarok, which we don't know yet. We just don't know. But, it is Avengers 2.5. This is where they scored the major coup. A deal was done with Sony so they could share Spider-Man. So you've got Spider-Man, which was hinted at in the end, if you knew where to look for it, in Ant-Man, which I'm sure I did mention in the last Infinity Watch. So you've got Spider-Man being introduced to build up the sides. You've got King T'Challa, well, the future King T'Challa, the Black Panther being introduced as well. And, you've got the fallout from Age of Ultron. You've got the whole superhero registry, the whole thing that splits the group. A film that realistically should have been essentially about the finding of Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. I'm pretty certain when a big announcement, they announced Captain America 3, then Warner DC announced we're doing Batman versus Superman, so Marvel upped their game because the release patterns were so close, and it became a bit of a measuring contest between the two companies. Ultimately, Marvel won because the characters were there. That's what separates Batman versus Superman and Team Captain America versus Team Iron Man, is that we're already emotionally invested in these characters. We care for them. We don't like seeing the family being ripped apart, because you either do love, you have to have a favorite. Everyone does. They love one more than the other. For me, it was all about the ways they reacted and the sides, and because of the storyline media. If you've watched, while you're watching this, if you haven't watched it really, is that they're split apart about the superhero registry. And the film does have some great touches. Tom Holland, Marissa Tomei setting up the Spider-Man, the future Spider-Man movies, so they don't have to do no backstory. The origin story is there. Same with Black Panther. They cut so much weight from the beginning of the Black Panther movie by actually introducing the characters and a bit of the backstory, so that those two future franchises can hit the ground running. And this is what it works. Great sequence at the start with a de-aged Robert Downey Jr., which is absolutely fantastic. One of the best de-aging I've seen so far in the MCU and in cinema. Admittedly, they did have a lot of references to go on. Young Robert Downey Jr. has been acting since he was very young. Just look at Weird Science, just one of the ones that started him in my eyes. So there's enough material to actually do some great CG on a de-aging of Robert Downey Jr. And the film is, the film is a great film. I'll be honest. First, some characters are wasted. There's in Zemo, Daniel Bruhl, loved the actor. I thought he was absolutely brilliant in Rush, but his character seems to be a bit wasted. You understand his arc, but we're going from the fallout. His character is on the fallout of Age of Ultron, and his character, and what happened to the Sokovia Accord, is what this moves the film forward. The finding of Bucky Barnes. One thing I didn't like is, it was telegraphed right from the start, was that the Winter Soldier, the brainwashed Bucky, killed Tony's parents. To me, that was always, it was when they did the big reveal. It was like, oh, I kind of figured that one out right years, for a long while. So that was no shock in that, and but it made great to divide the team, especially the superhero best friends of well, Tony and Steve. And they, his Captain America's loyalties are torn because of not only his ideologies to the Accords, but he's torn between the Avengers and his friend Bucky. I mean, who's going to be there to the end of the line. But I'm going off. But I mean, I can't wait to see where they go with Bucky after post Infinity War. I'm assuming Bucky survives, the Falcon. Bucky, Anthony Mackie, and Sebastian Stan, brilliant chemistry. They do Falcon and Winter Soldier. But Spider-Man, the introduction of Spider-Man in the film is worth the price of admission. Although the character does at times feel that he could have been, taken out of the film, but because if they had all gone pear-shaped with the rights and the sharing, worked out brilliantly for Marvel, worked out brilliantly for Sony. I mean, look at Spider-Man Homecoming, which will be coming up in the future Infinity Watch. Black Panther's introduction, brilliant. Chadwick Boseman's fantastic. The whole setting up of the characters. It's a satisfying film. I mean, the big complaint is, and I know why they couldn't do it, because you've got the Infinity War is in the comics, the wasted Frank Grillo Crossbones kills off the Captain, which at the start of the film, towards the start, they couldn't really do because the title is Captain America Civil War, not Avengers Civil War, so they couldn't exactly kill him off. Which that was a bit disappointing because I did expect that to happen towards the end of the film. I was actually waiting for it, but it didn't happen. So it was a bit of a surprise when you have the Captain actually surviving it. But like I said, you got to keep him going for Infinity War. You can do it. And the film has a great arc, great ending. Like I said, it does feel like whereas Age of Ultron felt like it was just like putting pieces together for a bigger film. This does actually feel like a complete film, even though, Mike have said before, it's Avengers 2.5. I mean, not the best Marvel film. Not even, I'd even probably rank it the third out of the Captain Americas. But it is enjoyable. I mean, it is fantastic. I mean, the characters, that's the thing that makes it. It is the characters. They are all there. It's a great setup, great ending, and all the pieces are put in place because they know where they're going. They know what the end game is now. It's Infinity War. So everything has slotted together. And we are now getting ready to go to this big event that's 10 years in the making. Marvel, Avengers, Infinity War. This is it. This is what we're going for. We're setting everything up. We've got everything in position so that when we go into the next few films, Phase 3 is the big one. And we've hit the ground running. We've done a great film. People like it. And that's it. That's it. We're ready to go into the next one, which is going to be part 14, Doctor Strange. I'll see you then.